Okay, I'm going to call the City Council meeting to order for Monday, October 19th, 2020. I'm actually located in the City Council room this evening. Others included with me in the council room are Public Works Director Tom Bernier and City Clerk Treasurer James Johnson. Council members that I see present are Dan Ross, John Wilson, Melissa Pedersen.
That page. And if you click into that link, you'll find our entire resource of educational material for the public. We have adopted a variable rate pricing ordinance back in 2015 that our haulers abide by. And you'll find a list of our haulers on the city website. One of the criteria is that we have outreach with our two schools. The schools are Newport City Elementary School and United Christian Academy. I'm very pleased to say that we have an excellent working relationship with both of those entities, and we were able to help them secure food compost staff buckets just a few weeks ago. We have a responsibility to provide resources and education to them on an annual basis, which is easy to do when you have a good relationship. We also are required to have direct business outreach to 20 businesses per year. Before COVID, we did that through personal visits through Reg and IRA. They were always well received. As a result of COVID, we've resorted to phone calls and email. We document all of our interactions with our businesses as well as our school. Our field use contract also addresses recycling and how to manage waste at events. We are required to host 2 household hazardous waste events a year. Due to COVID, we were given a waiver, and we had 1 household hazardous waste event, which was held just this past Saturday, the 10th, excuse me. I don't have the data results from how many cars showed up at that event yet. I hope to be able to report out perhaps at the second public meeting. In terms of collection of landfill banned and dangerous materials, those are included in the A to Z guide. And the A to Z guide and our hauler list addresses food resources for composting and food scraps. For textile reuse and recycling, we have 3 different entities in the city of Newport that take used clothes. One is located near Subway, one is on Main Street, and one is at NEK-TV. Our recycling center takes leaves, brass clippings, garden vegetation, and wood chips. They take that year-round at the recycling facility. We are not required to manage asphalt or drywall recycling until 2021. At that point, I believe that there will be a regional resource for us. Right now, there is no resource, and that's why we're not required to manage that or store it till 2021. We'll be hosting one regional meeting with A&R experts throughout the life of this solid waste implementation plan, so that will be well advertised. It'll probably be in approximately 2 years because it's a 5-year plan, so we want to hit the halfway point. And lastly, we don't know of any other solid waste implementation plans or facilities or landfills that are expected to come to the city of Newport. Our responsibility would be, if we were approached by an entity that wanted to build a landfill in the city of Newport, we would all be required to file all the necessary permits. And beyond that, I'm open to any questions if there's anything I can respond to for the City Council. The City Council members have been inundated with information and updates on the solid waste implementation because it's that important. So I both apologize to them for inundating them and appreciate their attention on the matter. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Are there any questions from council members? Okay.
Mayor, I would just say that we have been very much kept informed and up to date as the process has gone on, and thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's a big deal. It has a big impact on our community, and the community spends approximately $84,000 a year on our recycling program. If we were required to join the waste district, that would likely double. So it's to our interest to keep going in the direction that we're going. So if there's no questions, what I would do at this point is expect an instant replay at the next meeting, which is scheduled for November 2nd. At that meeting, I will ask for the City Council to adopt the plan. I do have to provide the agenda and the minutes to the Agency of Natural Resources of both our public meetings as part of the criteria of approval. So I just want to thank everybody.
The only thing I had, Laura, this is basically it's a template that's required by the state to fill in, and so once you fill it in, A&R does review it, and there really isn't a whole lot of changes that one can make once you start the process.
That's absolutely true, and in my experience, the edits that they requested us to make were very prescriptive. We didn't have a lot of mobility, and if you look at the report, you will see that it's basically repeating what the paragraph in front of it requires. So it is very prescriptive. I can't use a better word to describe it, particularly based on the edits we received, which were non-substantial changes. They were mostly sentence structures to match the language they had given us.
Okay. Anything else before we move on? And with that, we're going to move on to item number 5, which is the Planning Commission update. And we have the chair of the Planning Commission with us, John Manette. I'll turn it over to John.
Okay, good evening. I was asked to give you an update as to where we were in terms of working on the new plan. Our focus over the last couple of months has primarily been to organize some of the legwork needed for some of the background information that the plan requires, number one, and secondly, working with the SE group to put out a survey that went live last Monday or Tuesday, a week ago. It's available on the city website and through other places, soliciting input, and it's not necessarily limited to city residents, but it does ask whether they're landowners in the city, business owners in the city, residents, or all of the above, just to try to get a sense of the perspective that people are coming from. It also asks for a general neighborhood too, just to see if there are any particular issues that jump out for folks in specific neighborhoods. As of midday today, or as of this morning, the SE group advises that something over 2,100 people have been reached by the postings online. And as of midday today, there were about 120 survey responses that had been received. There have been a couple of blips with a couple of the questions on the survey where there are spaces where people can type in additional information, and those are being worked on to try to correct the errors or the programming blips that prevent people from entering other information. So hopefully that's going to be worked out by tomorrow if it hasn't already been worked out. Publicity for the survey is on the the city website. It's on the marquee on the causeway. Information has been sent to the local papers. And if people aren't comfortable filling it out online or want a paper copy, the paper copy can be requested through the zoning administrator, picked up at the municipal building, filled out, and dropped back at the municipal building to go into the zoning administrator's inbox for compilation. Our hope is to have the information from that survey compiled by the time of our first meeting in November. Based on discussion with SE Group, we were going to move our November meeting schedule from first and third Tuesday to second and fourth Tuesday, based on the premise that by the second Tuesday in November, the survey results would be compiled and available for us to review. So that's pretty much where we are at this point.
Other questions from council members?
If I may?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank the planning commission members because they've been working on this for several months, and to have the survey go live is actually quite a milestone. I did post a new survey on the Newport, Vermont Facebook page this afternoon before tonight's meeting. I think the comment box is fixed, and if you filled out a survey and you want to say something else, just indicate on the survey that you're filling in your comments. Please feel free to share that far and wide. And the survey is due to close on the 30th. And I don't remember if John mentioned that, but if you said it, it's worth repeating so that you make sure you get your responses in. This is a golden opportunity. It's an exciting project because the Planning Commission is very serious about it, and SE Group is very dynamic to work with. They came up with the logos and the ability to take the survey online, which we're really happy about. I was really pleased that we had 120 responses as of this morning, so I'd love to keep that trend going. So by all means, thank you to the Planning Commission. It's a very clever survey. It takes 5 minutes, and the feedback thus far has been quite positive. So I just wanted to put an additional plug in from my perspective. This is funded by a municipal planning grant. The grant is in the amount of, I believe it's $22,000 from the state of Vermont, and the city is committed another $2,200 for a total of $24,400. And this is a big body of work. So the more people that we can get involved in that, the better quality, and then people can't say they aren't heard. So by all means, fill it out. Thank you.
Here I didn't unmute myself. I'm saying anything else for the Planning Commission Chair? If not, then we'll move on. Okay, thank you, John. The next item on the agenda is Brownfields Grant Letter of Support. And I'll turn it over to the City Manager.
Yes, we have been involved in a Brownfields grant with NVDA and St. Johnsbury as a coalition member. That grant came to fruition in 2018. The City Council wrote a letter of support in 2017 to NVDA at that time, as they are the Regional Planning Commission and the applicants. The grant that we are just finishing up was for $600,000. Were expended responsibly, on time, and benefited our area. We're very pleased about that track record because the grant funds have been allocated and the final performance report will be prepared this fall by NVDA. NVDA is now preparing the second EPA Brownfields Coalition grant. This time it's been expanded to include Lindenville, St. John's, and Newport. The focus of the grant will be the 5 opportunity zones in the Northeast Kingdom with priority redevelopment sites in the surrounding small towns and villages. For example, the Gardner Park Phase 1 and Phase 2 came as a direct result of the Brownfields grant, and those environmental work is expected to begin during November. It's not a given that we will get the second round of funding. We don't know how the EPA will regard 2 grant requests in a row, but we believe the track record of execution of the first grant will lend itself to our favor. So with that, I'm asking for the council to, for a motion to approve entering into a letter of support so that Newport can be an additional coalition member in the second round should it be funded. The priority areas would be the Main Street development, Gardner Park, Lake Lot, and I can't remember if the Wagner site was listed in the specifics on the letter of support or not, but that would also be included.
Okay. I don't see the Boulder site listed for the letter. It's Main Street, the downtown area, Coventry Street, and Lake Lawn.
Yeah.
Those are the 3.
Yeah. It's possible if there was action or a nibble on the Wagner property that would be included as well.
Questions from council members? My recollection, Laura, I think some of this Brownfields money was used for, was it some of it initially used on Main Street too, initially, or am I mixed up with something, another grant that was used to do some remediation?
Yes, it was not this particular grant, but there was a Phase 1 done on the Main Street site, and that was just before I got here, so I'm not sure where the funding for that Phase 1 came from. I'm pretty sure NVDA had something to do with it, and I suspect that the Phase 1 is probably expired by now.
Questions from the council members? If not, then I would entertain a motion that we approve the letter of commitment for NVDA EPA Brownfield Assessment Coalition Grant.
This is Melissa. I'll move to approve entering into a letter of support for the Brownfield grant.
Motion made by Melissa. Is there a second?
Mr. Wilson, second.
Seconded by Mr. Wilson. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have one question on this. Should we not, or should you not add the Bognor area to your letter before you sign it? I know that down the road, if it does come up, or there's a nibble, we don't have to try to get back into that area.
It couldn't hurt.
Right. I think you could easily edit the letter and then we can add the bonus site to it.
We can do that right now, actually.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, I have nothing for me.
Okay, so a motion was made and seconded, and we'll be adding Bognor to the letter, the Bognor site. If there are no other questions, then all those in favor say aye.
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 The ayes have it. The motion carries. Well, I won't sign the one I have.
I'll see if I can get it to you before the meeting is over, and I just want to thank everybody. it's a good move, I think, for the city.
Okay, moving on. Move on, new business. Mr. Ross, do you have any new business? Nope. Okay, Mr. Charbonneau?
No.
Ms. Edison?
No.
Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, I know, I have just one. As I drive downtown every day, we're getting a massive, and it's growing by the day, pothole on, I guess it would be in the three-way stop in downtown on the right, on the south side of the road where we had the possible sewer leakage. It's right in the driveway of the road. I think they ought to get it fixed before it gets any worse.
Okay. Any other new business?
No?
Okay. Laura, any new business?
No, thank you.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson doesn't have any. Okay. Old business. Mr. Ross? No? Mr. Charbonneau?
No?
Ms. Pedersen?
No.
Mr. Wilson?
Oh, yes, any follow-up on, my bringing up about the possible junkyard on East Main?
I don't have any update for you. I think that our zoning administrator is educating himself about that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any old business, Laura?
No, thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
I'd like to comment, I've had some questions asked about voting on election day. The polls are open, people can vote. If they choose to vote, they either have to bring in their ballot or sign an affidavit saying they have not cast a vote previously. They can vote on county.
Okay. I have,
At the polls.
at the polls, that's at the polls. I have no old business. The next council meeting will be Monday, November 2nd, 6:30 p.m., and it will be a remote meeting. As long as the governor is continuing his executive orders, I'm going to continue remote meetings, just because I feel more comfortable doing it that way at this time. And now I need a motion to adjourn at 7 p.m.
Kevin Charbonneau, I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Charbonneau. Is there a second?
Melissa, I'll second.
Seconded by Melissa. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Ayes have it. We are adjourned.
Aye.
Night.
Goodbye.